Right guys, so this right here is the video I wish I had when I was 14, 15, 16, when I was actually getting into natural health and actually, looking into self-improvement. This is gonna be a video guide on maximizing your puberty. So if you're 18 or younger, you still are in that key period of time, that window. Elements such as your height, your looks, testosterone, your health and lifespan, super malleable. And if you make the right decisions and build the right habits, you can set yourself up for a far better life because of these potential results. I figured all these things out myself at the age of 15 through trial and error. I'm 20 now, and I can confidently say that the stuff I started implementing back then absolutely changed my life. So yeah, in this video, I'm gonna be saving you guys all of the time, the trial and error, giving you the lowest hanging fruit, the tips and tricks to actually start today so you guys can maximize your puberty, reach your genetic potential in terms of height, looks, and set yourself up for a great, fulfilling, abundant life. One thing people might ask, they might say this video is really superficial. I'm just focusing on the superficial elements of health and what it brings, that being like your looks and your height and your confidence, all of these things. But it would be naive to say that they don't play a role in your life and in your quality of life. I myself, being 6'5", have experienced some of the benefits life has to offer when you are in this top percentile of physical development. It's a harsh truth, that people will treat you better, people will take you more seriously, and the opposite sex will find you more attractive. And don't get me wrong, it's not the be all end all, but if you are 18 or younger and you're watching this very video, there's no reason to be upset with the cards you've been dealt, because you right now in this very moment have all the power you need to get the most out of life and to maximize your life to the very fullest. Obviously this comes with a bit of urgency. This is a window that will be closing, but that's why you're watching this video, because you want to learn what to do so you can take the actions now. I will say that these steps are the absolute bare minimum. These are the lowest hanging fruit, so it'll get you 80% of the results for 20% of the work. And then if you want to get the further 20% results, that's where you'll be looking to join something like my school community. That's where I have the advanced protocols and advanced guides around diet, nutrition, and even puberty and height maximization. So let's get into it. So step one, you need to be optimizing your circadian rhythm and your hormonal composition. If you didn't know already, your circadian rhythm is your body's internal clock. It's responsible for syncing hormone release, dictating quality of sleep, rest and recovery, and then also growth. Factors like growth hormone peak during the first phase of deep sleep, and other influential qualities such as testosterone are heavily influenced by our internal dark light cycle. So if you disrupt this rhythm, which literally all of you guys are doing, you're gonna be limiting and blunting your potential. So here are the simple steps that you can start fixing your circadian rhythm today. Starts in the morning. First thing in the morning, before you check your phone, before you go into the bathroom and switch on all the lights, you need to be getting your eyes and skin exposed to the morning sun. Morning sunlight exposure primes our body and our internal clock for the rest of the day, syncing our hormones optimally. So it'll be triggering a healthy cortisol release, but then also it will be synthesizing serotonin, which will be the precursor for melatonin, which you'll need to have a deep, restful sleep later in the day. This is absolutely a non-negotiable. Every single one of you guys needs to have a consistent wake up time, ideally during sunrise, so say 7 a.m. And you need to have a setup in your house or in your bedroom where you can open up the window and you can be getting morning sunlight every single day. Step two of fixing your circadian rhythm is avoiding artificial blue light after sunset. So our body and our internal clock is extremely sensitive to blue light. That is how we set our rhythms for the day. When we see high amounts of the blue light spectrum as is emitted by phones and devices and other screens, it tells our body that it's solar noon. Our cortisol is at an all-time high, which is antagonistic to melatonin, so our sleep is ultimately compromised. We're not going to get as restful as a sleep, we're not going to sleep for as long, and this will all have minor, yet over a period of time, major drawbacks on our physical development. What all you guys need to be getting is a pair of red blue light blocking glasses. I'll put a picture on screen. This is something that you will want to put on the eyes, what you want to wear after sunset to protect your eyes and your nervous system and your circadian clock from artificial disruption. On the topic of sleep, we'll say it's common sense that sleep will be one of the most important practices for your puberty maximization. This is when all the rest occurs, this is when all the regeneration and all the growth occurs. So obviously we want to be getting quantity of sleep, so a minimum of 8 hours every single night, but we also want to be getting quality. So dialing in the circadian rhythm means we're going to be dialing in sleep quality. A lot of you guys, assuming you're 18 or younger, will be going to school. So in order to still be able to obviously get to school and wake up on time, you guys need to be prioritizing getting to sleep early, getting to bed early. This is what I did, and to be honest, I also slept in and missed a lot of school, but it paid off greatly, and I'd much rather be in the place where I am today than waste my time going to a slave brainwash university to learn stuff that's literally free and abundant all over the internet. Important thing to note is that during this period of puberty, we don't want to be overexerting ourselves, things such as exercise or weightlifting. Not a myth at all. Weightlifting does stunt your growth because it uses up the available growth hormone and testosterone in your body to build muscle instead of growing and developing your skeleton. Remember, muscle is only temporary, it will wither away and you can get it back at any point, but your skeleton is permanent and you can only get it during this key window. So it's in your best interest to prioritize developing your skeleton, your height, your facial development compared to superficial muscles. Got the sleep dialed in, got the circadian rhythm dialed in, our hormones are fixed. What we also need to do is fix our nutrition to make sure we're actually getting the raw building blocks to actually develop and build our skeleton. So some of the building blocks we need are calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, collagen, and saturated animal fats. And all of these nutrients are found in abundance in raw animal-based foods. A great source for all of these things would be raw milk. It's obviously particularly high in calcium, but then it also has that natural raw fat content. So it is bone-building food. I'd also recommend getting your raw fats from other sources such as raw egg yolks, eating a lot of organ meats such as liver for vitamin A. To maximize nervous system health as well as bone development, I'd be including a raw seafood such as oysters, which is extremely high in DHA and zinc. Goes without saying, avoid processed junk food, avoid seed oils. It will have inflammatory effects on the body that will disrupt your hormones and will have drawbacks in your physical development. Next step, we need to be UV doping. UVB light triggers vitamin D synthesis, which is essential for calcium absorption and bone mineralization. And morning UVA will also prime our mitochondria for efficient energy production. So yeah, you want to be out in the sun as much as you can, not wearing any sunscreen. Obviously you don't want to be burning, so you want to build up your tolerance over time, but getting copious amounts of sunlight will help your health and help your physical development in every single way. I want to touch on growth killers again. So these are the things that will be taking away from your height and physical development gains. So things such as poor sleep, ultra-processed foods, constant blue light exposure at night, constant non-native EMF exposure at night, so things like Bluetooth, you want to be turning your phone onto airplane mode or putting it in another room while you're sleeping. Excess physical stress, so that would be weightlifting, that would be training multiple hours a day, and that would be overexerting yourself to the point that you are no longer motivated to do so. You know, it's no secret, studies heavily link overtraining and chronic cardio to impaired bone and skeletal formation, as well as reduce IGF levels. So yeah, that's everything. That's the full basic guide. I want you guys to dial in all of these aspects because it will change your life. I can say from personal experience, life is better. It's a harsh truth. When you're taller, when you're better looking, when you have clear skin, you know, not that I'm like anything crazy, but I'd much rather be this way than a shorter, uglier, more unhealthy version of myself. It's just common sense. So you guys have this key window. I would absolutely urge you to do everything in your power to maximize it. Complete these steps when you're ready. I do have my private course and community where I go even more in depth, where I have all the exact guides, protocols, routines, recipes to take it from 80% to 100%. That is linked in the description below. That's also a place where you can join a community of like-minded young men and women who care about their health. It's also a place where you can get one-on-one access to me. I can give you direct answers and feedback on your diet, lifestyle, and nutrition, so you know you're heading in the right direction. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you got value from this, and I'll see you in the next video.